Welcome back. This is the Between Darkened Mirrors, episode 8. Last time we had people going around and doing their own thing, which actually is par for the course for this group. I mean, like, everybody's very individual, and hopefully we will see them come together, working together at some point soon. And yeah, I mean, let's do a 1 or 2 sentence recap of what you've been doing. And Whitmore's player is unable to be here to join us tonight. However, we've gotten Victor back. So Paul, I'll probably just ask you like what you think that Victor has been doing while everybody else was pretty much gathering clues and figuring out what was going on with the King in Shadows. Okay. Or do you want me to call on you?
I can go ahead and go. So with the new Limehouse lurker threat, Whitmore took his autopsy bag and was going to go check out the bodies, but I think he ended up spending most of his time with the man in the sun mask, I think. And and so Lord James Campbell-Hughes went to the Royal Explorers Club and got a ton of vampire fighting equipment from Rear Admiral Alfred Bingley Green. And then I think he might have also talked to Sir Anthony, and then went to look for the mastermind where he thought he saw her, Titania, and was getting some runaround from the local beggar community and was a little rough on them, and then decided to throw a party. It wasn't Sir Anthony, it was the other guy, the party guy, to try to lure the mastermind to Hargrave House as we do our final show of The King in Shadows.
So after, it's worth mentioning twice, after a really stupendous victory against the Slugger, Doc went on one of his paracausal benders, as he is wont to do, and ended up in his wanderings learning 2 important things, or I'll just say 2 clues, one of which relating to this upcoming play, The King in Shadows. Found a costume crown dripping with blood and black ichor. I also noticed in a little separate interaction on my way out the door that no cats have been going out during the day in all of London. And that's the first little thing that Doc's picked up on about our newest threat. Let's see. I had to use a couple masks last time. I don't know if it's important to mention, but I got to narrate 2 big scenes, one of which being a childhood flashback, which showed the high level of privilege I was born in. And that was a really fun, almost Wes Anderson shot of being led across an opulent estate by a butler into my father's study to be told that my favorite racehorse has been injured and put down. So that was cool. And the other mask was a scene showing what a willful, ignorant brat that I was growing up. And there was an argument between a friend of mine and myself as kids. The friend was a child of one of the servants, because that's, all rich kids have to go on as far as making friends, I guess. And it was a argument over who would play sheriffs and who would play bandits in a game of sheriffs and bandits that devolved into a really embarrassing fist fight. Outside of that, Doc was just making his way back to Hargrave House to prepare for the play we're not doing tonight. The play we are disrupting. I remember that I was cast as the King of Secrets, if that is important. And if no one's mentioned it, our unseen this night is taking place at St. Osana's Home for the Destitute. Sorry if someone already mentioned that. Yeah, I think that's the best of the useful information I have.
I believe Lord Campbell-Hughes also. Titania is still playing hard to get with Lord Campbell-Hughes, and she is not appearing no matter how much he asks.
We'll have to see for sure. So I think the intention was that the play was going to continue to go on in Hargrave House's basement. But, taking on your roles, you are going to subvert them, I guess, this night. And one of the ways you're planning on doing that is by holding a party. Is that correct, Lord Campbell-Hughes? All right. So please remind me what each of you are for this particular production and how you plan on breaking it, if that's what you're planning on doing for Night Phase. Okay, well, I mean, I don't remember who was who, but so King and Shadows are the King of Secrets, King of the Hunt, King of Tragedy, and King of Words.
I was King of Tragedy, and Whitmore was King of Words.
Got it. Okay. Well, I believe King of Words is going to be working on a hell of a lot of canapes tonight. And then
The word is canapé.
yes, and I believe King of the Hunt was Victor.
Mhm. I'm King of Secrets.
Yeah. Okay. So, just to set it up, I believe that you said offline, Daniel, that Lord Campbell-Hughes invited Sir Stewart, of course, to set up this party. And then Sir Anthony. Yeah, I think that was it, right? I mean, is that like is that your version of a party?
And then
Oh,
just like people from the theater community to see
Ah.
the production.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the woman who put on the play at that chapel.
At Ranley, yeah. Let's see. Her name is Marie Litton. She was the manager over at Ranley Chapel. I'm going to reintroduce the unseen again, just as a reminder for folks. And then we will do the first prompt, which is going to be paint the scene. And then we will commence with hunter scenes. Okay. And again, remember that your goal for the unseen is to get that echo of the night, thematically tie in somehow your hunter scenes with the unseen, which happens across town, has nothing to do with the hunter scenes at all. But again, you want to try to find some way to echo the two thematically. Okay. All right. So it is St. Austin's home for the destitute. St. Austin's is a modest-sized workhouse with around 300 inmates. The cramped, unsanitary accommodation is segregated by age and gender, with families separated except for babes in arms. The food is meager, the work frequently pointless, and the discipline harsh and arbitrary. After lights out, the house is silent but for muffled sobs and snatches of whispered conversation. Paint the scene for everyone. What signs do we see that this place is not just pointlessly cruel, but deliberately so? And don't forget to put your answers into the space provided, so this way you can call back each other's answers.
The first thing I thought of when I read this prompt was hostile architecture, and really trying to not just like, put a bunch of glue on the back of that and stick it onto this where it might like kind of stand out and not quite fit. I thought of like this place was built with rooms, cells of a certain size to hold a certain amount of people. And I think when that happened, we'll talk like, I'm thinking mainly of like maybe the holding cells before people are like placed deeper within for longer stays. And I imagine this room is having one of those kind of hostile architecture benches that's just a kind of diagonal piece of wood attached to the wall that you can kind of lean on. But of course, like all good places that are good at being incredibly terrible, it's super overcrowded, right? So these holding pens, for lack of a better term, full of people waiting to like get judgment, have their debts measured out exactly, be placed further within for more like long-term stays. They're packed into these rooms in such numbers that it's truly standing room only. And so these hostile architecture benches, which are already bad as it is, become like unusable and painful, right? People are packed in there like sardines. So instead of being able to kind of like maybe put your butt up and lean on one of the terrible benches, it's just like digging into your hip. If you happen to be so unlucky to be at the outside of one of these sardine cans of human misery, this already bad bench is pressing into the bones of your hips and legs.
I'm going to say in the main workroom, all the windows have been bricked up, and there's maybe a lot of them, rows and rows of these windows that have been bricked up, and they've been painted over like these idyllic countryside scenes where when you it's clearly you're not looking outside, and it's almost a mockery to be working in this dimly lit work conditions. That you're hurting for space, you're hurting for light, and the windows that you could have used have been bricked up, and then it's kind of a slap in the face to see the scenes that are painted on the brick.
To emphasize the pointlessly cruel part. In theory, all the workers could be on the same schedule, but you can get woken up at any point in the night. You could be working for 6 hours. You could be working for 24 hours. You just never know how much you're going to be working, and you can never build an internal clock for yourself.
On a different part of town, Hargrave House is lit, ready to go for this particular party. And Sir Stuart, let me see if I can get a handle on him. I've actually used him before, but let's see. Yes, Sir Stuart, Trebling Wells, in a fine brocade smoking jacket, cigarette holder, ring, and precisely groomed. Yes. So, besides Sir Anthony and Sir Stuart, is there anybody else that you plan on inviting? Oh, and of course, the theater community. Marie Litton is kind of becoming, feeling very gracious that you've invited her, but very tentative as well, because she knows of the strange power of this production. And she will turn to you, Lord Campbell-Hughes, and say, "Are you sure you want to do this? I mean, it's bad enough that this play has driven people mad. But I mean, if they watch it too much, then they start to change. I've seen the effects."
Now, I'm wearing Lord James Campbell-Hughes is wearing the Tragitarian costume when she's saying this, and he's holding the mask. No, I don't feel that. I don't feel like I'm slipping into any sort of insanity whatsoever. It's I know what it looks like, but we'll just see if we can see this through, madam.
If you think you know what you're doing, I mean, all right. But you might be brooking powers that you know not how to bear.
Well, if you don't want to watch this show or this production, you are welcome to stay up here where we're having the party upstairs.
Oh,
It's really your choice. I'm just glad you're here, and try to mingle.
I will, if that's permissible. I mean, I did bring, as you asked, the rest of the troupe that normally performs at the chapel. And then, like, she starts to introduce you to, like, so and so and such and all this kind of stuff, and they're like all kind of like coming in, chattering away, and they're kind of glad not to go down into the basement to join some of the other hoi polloi that may have wandered down to that double door setup that somehow has appeared in Hargrave House. Yeah. So, while this is going on, and Sir Stuart is welcoming, of course, guests along with you, Lord Campbell-Hughes, and will cotton on to any particularly beautiful looking young men that happen to come by as well. I mean, I'm sure there's at least a couple in the theater troupe. While this is going on, Victor, what are you doing?
So as he says, like there should be some good-looking young men here in the theater troupe. Victor walks in basically a loincloth, a lot of furs, very Craven the Hunter-esque sort of costume. And Victor just goes to Lord Campbell-Hughes like, Lord Hughes, I thought we weren't going to be part of the play. Are all these furs really that necessary? I don't even know what some of these animals are.
Your
And Sir
shoulder
Stuart's
pads
like,
made out of a collection of hedgehogs, I believe.
oh my.
But
And he comes over to you, Victor. I don't think I've made your acquaintance, young man. Lord Campbell-Hughes, you've been hiding this treasure from me. You are. And he leans in close
Hargrave
to you,
House has
Victor.
many treasures, many treasures, such as
Mhm.
our good friend Victor Armstrong.
Mr. Armstrong, yes?
Yes.
Ah.
Armstrong. Like Armstrong.
Oh, that particular family. And he will reach out and, yes, you are as strong as your name, and feels your arm, of course.
Oh, whoa. It's very forward. Yeah, very forward friends here, Lord Hughes.
I can't help myself. I just enjoy beauty
Oh no,
when
it's
I see
fine.
it.
I kid. It's fine. It's very large. Yes. Years of training, I assure you. Also,
you see this. This is absolutely wonderful. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Specimens like this can only be seen in art, in the statuary, in the British Museum. This is so Grecian. Look.
Sorry, you should meet the Rivias. If you would like a human specimen, the Rivias, they are like I am nothing compared to them, honestly.
Oh, you must introduce me.
Yes, maybe one day. Actually, no, you don't want to meet them. Depends what time of day and how inebriated they are.
And then he goes off and cottons onto one of the other beautiful young men. Doc, what are you doing while this is happening?
I think that Doc. Well, I was going to say I think that Doc was back in the kitchen bothering Whitmore, trying to get Whitmore to drink like some true American bourbon that Doc has, because that's a thing you do before performing. Because Doc is at that weird intersection of like legitimate cowboy, as far as that can be a legitimate thing, and also kind of by nature sideshow performer, or like rodeo lad. So I think that this is obviously very different than stuff he's done before, but like some part of him is like, oh cool, like I kind of get this. All right.
What are you wearing?
I think that God, I keep
King of Secrets.
Yeah, I keep just thinking of the Riddler, but that's not really what was most interesting to me.
Oh my God.
I think that well, maybe something like the Riddler, like maybe I'm wearing a green suit of some variety, like a very cheap green suit, and a bowler cap instead of my cowboy cap. But the cane with a question mark is too on the nose. I think there's a more artful interpretation of secrets given to me as a prop, and it's like a package wrapped in paper, covered in wax seals and chained up, and then that chain is wrapped to my waist, and I'm supposed to like hold the chained up package and drag it with like the chain between my waist and it. But like I think as Doc is moving away from the kitchen from Whitmore into, I kind of thought maybe that he would interrupt or add himself onto this scene, like storm to where the more together people are, where Victor and Lord Campbell-Hughes are.
Before you do that, though, I think Whitmore is a little bit harried at the moment, and will, in his own way, possibly patiently but impatiently, I'm a little busy, Doc. How about you find out how many more guests I need to feed? Yes? And then, he'll kind of shoo you out of the kitchen. But I'm going to say that as you come out of the kitchen, there's like this like slender hallway, like thin hallway, narrow hallway. And then there's maybe a couple of windows down this hallway as you head towards the foyer. And at one of the windows, you will hear
I look out that window.
all you see what looks like a gloved hand and a very large dagger knocking against the window.
I put my big package that's chained up to me in my waist and I put it on like a side table in the hallway. I lean closer to the window and I think Doc like knocks back and just goes, "Who are you?"
And you'll see like in profile, like kind of like moving into the frame of the window, you'll see Cobweb's profile.
Oh my God. I throw open the window. No way. He did it. He invited you. That's amazing.
Well, then you don't see her.
Oh,
She has moved further down. And then like if you do stick your head out of the window,
yeah, I
then
do.
like
Definitely.
you'll see her very tall form kind of beckon to you out into the back.
All right. She wants me to go out the window into the back, or is there like I can go through the house in my mind. I know the house.
You tell me.
Uh,
How desperate is Doc to see Cobweb again? You tell me.
Doc in general is a pretty desperate character, and also like they're getting into the vibe. They're about to be on stage again. So he's gonna hop out the window. He's gonna hop out the window. Be like, you could have just stayed here. We could walk there together. That's fine. I've forgotten the package that's chained to me. I jump out of the window and it pulls off the side table I put it on, knocks a painting off the wall, go back and like pull it over the windowsill, grab it, and continue on.
This feels like a very comedic scene as we as we
So I'm so sorry. It keeps happening.
just like as we move back into the main where would you think you hold this party, like inviting people to not go to the actual play happening in the basement? You hear the stentorian chorus, doing their wailing and their chanting from from whatever act it is that they're doing this behind their animal masks. But you seem to be keeping like your crew and the theater people from heading downstairs, like like following the call of the King in Shadows. So what do you think? I mean, where are you holding this big party? Or I should say, where do you think that Sir Stewart would have just set this up?
I'm not really sure the layout of Hargrave House, but if after the front foyer, there's like a large hall there,
Mhm.
I think that would have been all cleared out of furniture and things. And if it goes all the way through the house, maybe out to the back garden area, if there's a porch or something.
Okay,
Um,
that
but
makes
then,
sense.
but then the stairway down to the cellars has to be around here somewheres, or we would have it pretty close to that,
Yeah,
or have signs this way
again,
to the King in Shadows.
right.
And then I mean, people can come and go. I'm just waiting for I think our big moment is maybe in the last act of the play. So I'm just up top greeting guests and telling them, if they like, this may be the last showing.
Okay. All right, cool. And Victor, it's like after you flex for Sir Stewart, what do you think you do next?
I think Victor is just planning to attend the party
Okay.
because just like this is easy. Like I don't have to do anything. The Lord just says just don't do your part. So yeah, I think he's still in full costume just to like I think showcasing that like he could be in the play but isn't is very important to this. That's why that's like he's trying to put that together. It's like these furs must mean something. Like
From Sir Campbell, from Lord Campbell-Hughes, or significant to the play?
no, like I think because Lord Campbell-Hughes showed up in costume, I think Victor's first instinct was like, why do I have to even dress up? But I like the costume idea as a thing.
Okay.
So I think showing people that like, I mean, like, shouldn't he be part of the play? He's clearly part of the play, but not. So I think, but he's choosing not to. Just like adds to that idea of us not doing anything
Yeah.
for the play. So I think all Victor is really doing is trying to just like enjoy the party, like mingle with
Okay.
people, like
Okay.
try to be like a good host, really. Because I think as part of like being in like a big family of like famous monster hunters. There's a lot of like meeting the other great families that I've mentioned before in gatherings like that. So Victor, like at some point in time, his mom came down to his room and was like, "Hey, there's a guest over. Like get your stuff ready. We have to be like presentary today." So he's trained to do this. Just like
Right,
being
right.
good at mingling, facilitating the party, that sort of thing.
Right. I think he's even like, I think you're even trying to help Whitmore out a little bit by being the one to kind of juggle the drink, like maybe it's like a couple of drink trays or something like that. And then somebody like nearly like has a near miss bumping into you and you almost spill, but because of your prowess, like you do that balancing trick and everybody's like, "Ooh, ah." And then like this person is like very apologetic, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, Victor?"
Oh my god.
It's Melody. Is
Melody.
is that you? You are not wearing a lot.
It's hedgehog, I've been told.
All
You'd
right.
think it's only spiky on the outside, but it's kind of a all around sort of fur.
I'll take your word for it. I'm sorry. It
What?
was curiosity.
How do you know Lord Hughes?
I don't. I mean, I was actually going to try and figure out the play. Another viewing, perhaps. And I saw that there was a party up here, and I want
Yes.
to see. Yes, but I didn't realize it was dress up. I'm so sorry.
Here's the thing. I'm supposed to be part of the play tonight.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shouldn't you be
No,
downstairs?
here's the second thing. I'm not gonna be downstairs. I'm gonna be here instead.
Oh.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know anyone at this party, and like I'm so glad that I met someone else here who came to the same party, you know? It's very fortuitous for the both of us. So like, do you want to just like hang out up here? Honestly,
If that's all
yeah,
right. I mean,
yes.
I don't understand this draw
Here,
that the
here,
play has. Yes.
take
Oh,
this plate
oh,
of hors d'oeuvres.
okay.
Start circling around the party. All right, I'll
Oh,
take this other
uh,
plate. I'll circle around the other way. We'll meet back
oh,
here. All right,
wonderful. All right.
all right,
And
okay.
she goes ahead and does
Mhm.
it. And Doc, before we head back to the unseen. Yeah, I mean, like Cobweb is she's beckoning to you, and then she makes her way to the garden, which I'm gonna say again, it's kind of like an overgrown type of English garden, like, kind of wild, but it does have some sense to it. You don't know who the hell is taking care of it, but it seems to be taking care of itself. And the double doors that were originally letting people in the first time the play was happening at Hargrave House, they're shut. I mean, they're solidly shut, but you still hear the stuff, the sounds from the play, like, coming through those doors. And you see that there is a excuse me, that there is a big, what is it? Like one of those big, like solid beams of wood, like
Right.
set on the
Barred across
outside.
the doors.
Yes, like across the doors.
Do I see cobweb?
Yes.
Okay.
She's actually further into the garden. She's like got her back to you. But she's kind of looking coyly at you over her shoulder. She is wearing her men's tailored suit, but this time it's like in a dark red.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question in a weird way, but I think it gets to what I'm getting at quickly. If this door were to stay barred from the outside and Hargrave House was to have a fire, and I'm assuming a fire is a thing in which if people died in it, everyone that's a part of Hargrave House would be very upset, right? If that door stayed barred, would it likely cause more people to die in a theoretical fire?
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
unless they manage to go up the
Right.
stairs through the basement steps.
Mm.
I don't even want to know necessarily just yet. What the hell is in Doc's mind? Oh my God.
Doc's mind is the bar door.
Oh my God.
And again, so Doc is kind of jovial. Doc is like getting loosey goosey and ready to be on stage. But in my mind, like solidly, there is like tense music in the background. But yeah, I think Doc like hollers over to Cobweb again, like not getting the kind of like coy English maybe thing that's happening here, even though that's probably not also exactly what's happening. And he hollers over like, "One sec, I'll be right over there. For some reason, everyone in the play is locked inside and the door is barred from the outside. I don't remember that." And Doc keeps like going on as he's walking to the thing, is like kind of talking over his shoulder to Cobweb, totally unawares of like everything around him. Is like, it's funny. There's a lot of things about Hargrave House that I don't remember having been there that I'll like stumble into and be very shocked by. It's an interesting place. Lord James Campbell-Hughes told me, and like, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, Doc goes to unbar the door.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's head over to the unseen. All righty.
That's me too, right?
Yep. So, Bob. Cedric Decker is a boy of 11 whose father was a wealthy wine merchant until gambling landed him in debtor's jail. As Cedric lies in his bed in the boy's wing, how do we see his sheltered upbringing has not prepared him for this place?
When a person that's out of their depth is put into a very serious and rough and tumble situation, often there is a scene or whether it's presented on page or on screen, of them sleepless in their first few nights, trying to adjust to the new place in general, but also probably because it's a bit rougher bed than they're used to. And so knowing that, when I say that what we see is young Cedric not sleeping, I don't mean just that. It's not like, okay, well, it's a new place. I've never slept outside my own bedroom or one of my father's villas. This is someone whose experience of what sleep should be is so alien to even the most peaceful thing that could ever happen inside this building, that we see like a montage, like nights on nights on nights on nights of just like Cedric staring up at the ceiling, camera down, like, upper kind of bust shot of just like his eyes getting more and more red, hair getting more and more disheveled, as the camera shows us just he is unable to sleep. Like maybe after day 3 he gets over the strange new place, but there's like a bunch of terrible stuff happening at night, and we can let the sounds imply themselves, but yeah, I think he's just a sleepless child.
Lord Campbell-Hughes, you are mingling, you are entertaining perhaps the theater troupe that has decided to kind of stay upstairs and find out how the higher class live, I suppose. I mean, like, Hargrave House is a pretty big place and in its own way very resplendent to look at, even though sometimes it has some grim dark corners in it. What else are you doing?
I am keeping an eye out for Titania, and I've already met with Sir Anthony, and I have him on the case as well. That if he spots her first, to like give me like a heads up or like a some kind of signal.
I think he's busy in another corner of the ballroom, perhaps, or like in the big hall, because he has brought his deck of tarot cards, and he has offered to do some readings for people, like first, like for Marie Lytton, and then like he has them out, and then you hear a bit of a gasp from his corner as he's laying out a reading for someone. And then you hear him his tremolo voice saying, Lord, Lord Campbell-Hughes, come here, please.
Yes.
And if you look over at the small table where he's laid out like the simple like 3 or 4 card spread, Now you know what the tarot cards have. It's like usually like the symbols of like the cups, the sword, the uh cups, the sword, the I can't even remember them myself. But anyway, you know what the
Wands.
suits usually are. Yeah. And you see that the 4-card spread that he's laid out starts off with fairies holding flowers and then ends with the card laying on top of them all as someone in a burgundy hood with one eye looking straight at the viewer. These are not my cards. They
Who's he
were
doing the reading?
doing the
Who's he doing
reading.
the reading for?
I think it's like Marie Litton. And she's even kind of like looking at him strangely, like, what's wrong? Is this not right?
So I'm keeping an eye on her, but I'm trying to like just use my peripheral vision to see if there's any splash of burgundy in this hall.
I'm gonna say that, like, amongst the party goers, you see a flash of burgundy, and it seems to be going down one of the hallways deeper in the house. Not towards the kitchen. It's like, one of the other hallways.
Miss Litton, these are just some parlor tricks my friend Sir Anthony can do at such occasions. Sir Anthony, why don't you explain to her the details and all this while I go see if I can find a nice burgundy wine, old boy?
He first looks stricken, and then he gets your meaning, and then he kind of nods nervously. And then yeah, I mean, if you go like unhurriedly, of course, down the hallway, I think you'll discover it's like a back passageway that leads upstairs.
I am in dogged pursuit.
Okay. And Victor, you are handing out drinks or whatever. As you've given Melody canapes or whatever. Yeah. Do you think you've made it, or like made the round of the room already?
Yeah, I think he's made a round of the room, and I think I think you're right. I think he was carrying the drinks, and I think it was like he was like giving people drinks and then like toasting with them, really turning up the party vibe. Then he like meets back up with Melody, and he goes, "How's your half of the room? Going all right?"
Yes, I as you can see, that's like whatever they've had, it's like quite enjoyable. I didn't have any myself, unfortunately. But there was a very strange fellow over in the opposite corner. He
Which one?
so you see her like kind of indicating behind her, and you see a flash of very vivid red hair in the
Hmm.
opposite corner.
I think there
He
was like
ate
a
he ate like he swept half of the canapes off the tray and just gobbled them all up. You wouldn't think someone that small would well eat them that quickly.
Mhm. I think there was a moment where like after a few drinks, Victor was really like loosening up. But I think Melody sees Victor put his arms behind his back. Like to her it looks very casually, but like that's where he puts his axes on a more formal evening. I think he looks at Melody and says, "All right, Melody, um, I would consider you a friend. Would you consider me a friend?"
Yes, I mean,
Good choice. All right, stay within eyesight of me, and if things go bad tonight, I thought tonight was going to be pretty easy. And he like looks up at person with the red hair, but I get a sense that it could get pretty bad pretty fast.
What does this have to do with the play?
I wish this had something to do with the play. I think it's worse. I have a bad feeling.
Okay. Oh.
All right. So,
Should I go and get more food for? Okay.
no. And he, I think he he has, like, it's tough to know where on this outfit this was, but Victor is now holding a dagger. It's like, all right, Melody, hold on to this.
Oh my.
It's very sharp. You be careful.
Oh right. She's like kind of like tentatively holding it like an experienced person would, just trying to kind of keep it away.
Don't worry, I give out knives to people all the time.
Oh,
No one gets, yes, it's usually more safe than it's dangerous.
I see.
Yes. A child could wield this dagger.
I would disagree, but okay. I will remain here and I will hold this dagger for you. Yes. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And then Victor, like, walks very purposefully towards the person with the red hair.
Okay. I mean, are you, I forget, like, how you described yourself. Are you like medium size or are you tall?
Probably, I would say I'm not ginormous. Probably like a good athlete's height, like 6 foot.
Okay.
Okay.
So
like 6'2", maybe. Yeah.
You would definitely see this red-haired person. In fact, I mean, like, you'd see the shock of red hair. And then like, as people pass through and by, then, like, the face of the red-haired person will look at you like a very roguish, green-eyed, handsome fellow, and he'll kind of be like, like jutting his chin, like, it's giving you a grin. Oh man. So yeah. He looks like he's just kind of waiting for you to get to him.
Yeah.
And then Doc, Cobweb's going to turn towards you as you make your way to the basement door and or the double doors and such, and says, what do you think you're doing?
Gonna make sure this door isn't locked from the outside so that, it's not a incipient danger.
Why would it be a danger if people are just watching a regular show?
I'm at a loss for words. It seems pretty dangerous to me. Just the fact that this door is locked on the side away from the people who will likely be trying to use it. Why do you want it to stay locked? Because that's clearly something you care about.
Maybe so, maybe no. I mean, maybe people should just be kept to see through to the end. No harm in that, right?
Oh no, we have a much more laissez-faire attitude about this play this evening. Actually, I've been formally instructed to goof off. That's great. That's why I'm so excited about this.
Everyone has a part to play, right?
Whitmore was explaining this to me in the kitchen, but I think that's exactly the point as to why I need to do this, and then later go inside and do what I plan to do.
And she gets up to you very closely, and you can smell a particular scent on her. It's very attractive to you. What does she smell like as she approaches you?
Green figs. There's this scent from this company I really like called Hypatia, named after Hypatia. It's like really fig forward, and it's super broad without being too sweet. Reminds me a lot of actual figs. like as they grow in the Mediterranean, because I have family out in Italy and I've been there, and that smell.
What do I need to do to convince you that maybe it would behoove you to just be your part, play your role, and see what the shadows hold?
What you mean? Play my role in the play as, and again, I'm no genius, but I've been made to understand that this play wants things, and you want me to do what the play wants. All right. I guess I have a fundamental misunderstanding of who you are then, because that strikes me as the kind of rule worth breaking. And Doc continues to make his way to the door. Doc's going to unbar the door.
Gotcha. Let's do a night move.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think will happen if you fail or lose your nerve?
I feel like Cobweb is going to stab me or hurt me in some capacity. That's kind of the tension hanging in the air.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, she's not only going to take care of you with her flensing knives, but she's going to, like, she'll
Maybe she could,
unbar
like,
the door
dose me?
herself. I'm sorry?
Maybe she could like dose me with some kind of thing that make me more pliable to like go on stage and
Possibly.
do the role.
Yeah, I mean, like, and she'll even like throw open the door and then like kind of toss you inside to enact your role while you're under this particular like influence or whatever. So yeah, you want to roll. Hold on, let me see. Did
Yeah.
I did
What
not
is-
give anybody conditions.
Oh, I have a condition.
Oh, that's right, drained, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I definitely disadvantage because since you're already drained, you're kind of already vulnerable. So disadvantage with
So what is it?
vitality.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, what is exactly happening? Like, I'm going to the door. She's physically trying to stop me. She's like grabbing me.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, she's not going to grab you. She's going to stab at you.
Oh, just fully stab me. Okay, cool,
Yes.
cool. Okay. I would like to try to use an item to counteract this disadvantage. Is that allowed? Okay.
That is fine. Yes.
I have two options. You tell me what you like better. I have either one of the knuckle dusters stained inextricably with blood, like tucked really close to the book on that chain link connecting it to me. So like I can just like slip my fingers in and like backhand with a big, not book, package. So like backhand with like a big package covered in chains and a pair of knuckle or and a knuckle duster. Or Doc was smart enough, or at least suspicious enough of Cobweb's motives to like task young Kenny with just like checking out when she gets the invitation, like follow Lord James Campbell-Hughes's messenger who's bringing the invitation to Cobweb and see how she reacts to it. And Kenny was able to glean some information of like, I don't know, Mr. McBain, I wouldn't trust that lady. Those are my two that jump to mind.
I think it's more of a physical thing. Like, I think
Cool.
you have your knuckle dusters handy.
Awesome.
Literally handy.
Yes, literally handy. Okay, so I'll grab those. That gives me just a regular old vitality roll. That's +1. I've got roll funky dice up. Well, now I'm so out of practice. Is it just 2d6 when there's no advantage, right?
Because it wipes out the disadvantage. Yep.
Okay.
2d6 plus vitality.
Perfect. That's an 11.
Perfect. All right. We'll come back to you in a minute. All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I forgot who went before Doc. It'll either be Victor or
sorry.
That's okay. We got deep into it. Okay. I'm gonna go with Lord Campbell-Hughes at the moment. All right. So Lord Campbell-Hughes, you are following this burgundy hood that went up the back stairs to the upstairs. Yeah, it's pretty dark. Nobody's lit any lamps or whatever. And but you do still see the burgundy hood in front of you. And I think you hear a whisper of something, like you hear her voice. I heard you were looking for me, Lord Campbell-Hughes. Why do you try to punish my colleagues?
He pulls out of his pocket this a silver locket, and he opens it and he says, I've kept this all this time.
She stops and she waits until you get at least, if not next to her, then just behind her, before she turns around and looks at you full in the face. I'm going to ask you, does she know whose picture is inside it?
No, she probably doesn't. It's it's this it's just a worn like silver pocket watch, but it's got a locket clasp on the back, and he opens it up, and it says it's inscribed, and I don't know if she can see it in this dim light, but I hold it up so that she can. If she can, I don't know if she can see in this dim light. He's assuming that she can.
Yes.
And what's written is Titania Eternal.
This is quite true. And she will, as your hand is holding that watch / locket, she will bring up her hand very gently and then kind of cup your hand holding the watch. And so, what meaning do you hold behind it, Lord Campbell-Hughes? Or should I say James?
You're not supposed to be here. This realm is too mundane. This realm is too cold and gray. This is not for you.
You see a flash of anger on her face. I know it's not meant for me. But did you ever think that perhaps I have no choice?
Well, then we must see this right. We must get you back where you belong. Please allow me to help you.
Really? You would help me?
Yes. I owe you and your people a great debt, and I'm willing to pay this debt.
Oh, do you remember what it's like to owe the Fae? I don't think you understand what kind of bargain you made so long ago.
This place will kill you. You must go back.
Oh, I know. And I'm trying. I'm trying. Very hard. And we'll head over to Victor. Victor, you are headed towards this red-headed gentleman. Squat, wiry, handsome, with that kind of cocky, sly grin on his face. And then when you get to him, I mean, he's still there, and he's like enjoying like the remains of the canapes that he got from Melody's tray, as well as having like somehow 2 drinks in his hand. Oh, hello. I believe you are the Mr. Armstrong, yes?
Victor positions himself right in front of him. How Victor stands, positions himself in a way that no matter what this person does, he can react to it. He's not stiff, but he is standing his ground. And Victor just goes, well, yes, and if you would allow me to cut to the chase, as an Armstrong, my intuition is telling me that you are the most dangerous person in this room.
You wound me. I'm afraid there must be some mistake. some confusion, some misunderstanding. Let's take a moment, catch our breaths, and discuss this like civilized people. And then he holds up like the canapes and then the drinks. Give your humble servant, Puck, a chance to mend any offense. Yes? And he holds out like the stuff for you to take some.
I'm fine. I've had plenty. Puck, right? That's what you said. That's your
Puck.
name.
Yes, yes, indeed.
I don't think that you are the main threat here. He like squints at him. What is it? What is happening here tonight?
Oh, why would there be any kind of happenings at all? I mean, perhaps this is just an opportunity for us to enjoy a simple party, right? With a heavy emphasis on the word us.
All right. I will humor you for a time. Do anything I believe would be threatening towards me. You won't feel anything, but know that your time here will be over.
Well, time is as time does, sir. I mean, I can't say that I would be any threat to anyone. But I can only speak for myself, not necessarily my friends. And he smiles at you, that very, very sly smile. And his eyes kind of travel beyond you, behind you, over to where Melody is standing. And if you turn to look, there is, she's standing like, like where you left her. And like,
Yeah.
she's kind of over by one of the hallways. But you see behind her a very, very large shadow. Not
Mhm.
cobweb
Yes.
tall, but somebody very big, burly,
Mhm.
and large. Yeah. Daniel. Millie Cooper cradles her young baby in her arms, softly murmuring stories of the baby's father, a man of noble blood. What do we learn of him? And because King in Shadows is still active, and I forgot the previous ones, how does reality subtly distort in the background?
So she's got her baby wrapped up and she's in a corner trying to get away from the crusher people. She's sitting on like a hay mattress, and there's other people on the mattress as well, but she's turned off to the corner, and she's talking to the baby, and she says he's getting fussy. And so she's trying to settle him down, and she reaches deep inside of his in the rags that she's got him wrapped up in, and she pulls out this pocket watch and hides it from everybody else, and like shows it to him, and she says, "You're the posh fellow who took me to see your dad out in the countryside in a big manor. He gave me this watch, and he said it's worth a pretty penny, he told me, but I ain't selling it because I can prove that this is that this belonged to your dad, and that you have a rightful place in that country manor. Look, she's showing the baby. Look, it's got all kinds of shields, and I think that's a lion. This is going to be your destiny." And she tucks the watch back into into his robes, and then there's like a loud clap, and somebody says, "Okay, that's a wrap." And then she sets the baby's it's like a rubber like baby doll. She sets it off to the side, and then she like pulls out like some cigarettes and starts smoking as the scene ends.
Before we return to Lord Campbell-Hughes, I think from behind the doors, I think, however they're appearing, however they are being shown across this stage set in Hargrave House, I think there's a glow emanating from the door. And the people that are there, you can see their faces illuminated. Some of them have already started to make that change where their face, has turned into like the comedy and tragedy mask, or like, their forms have distorted where maybe like the nose is offset and all this kind of stuff. But you see their faces illuminated by some sort of light that is ever changing. Like it'll go to flame red, or turn into this soft dusky golden orange, and then like turns into this deep twilight blue, and they're enraptured with what they're seeing on the stage that we can't see as the camera pans across their faces. And we go back to Lord Campbell-Hughes. Titania is telling you, I'm trying to get back. Your queen stole much of my power. Are you truly wanting to help me? Or are you doing this to feed information back to your liege?
We never talked, to be honest with you. But we have to get you out of here. I know what this place does to you. We have to get you out of here. It has nothing to do with the queen. You
Doesn't it?
are you are a queen, and you need to be back to lead your people.
She moves her hand from your hand, clutching the watch, and then slowly moves it to your face as she cups your cheek. Silly boy. Some of my people are already here. And then you see from behind her, you see what looks like the shadows starting to come out and down, as if they're dropping from the ceiling and the walls. And you see what looks like a pale face or pale mask starting to come out from the ends of these shadows in the wall. There are other rulers here. I've merely come to attend a party, attend a show. You're part of that show, aren't you?
Oh yes, quite. I've got a great role in this one.
See that you play it well.
I'll give it my best shot. I've been practicing or rehearsing. I believe they call rehearsing. I've been rehearsing.
And she will lean in almost to the point where she's about ready to brush your cheek with her lips. And she says, don't disappoint. Those tickets were expensive. And then
If
she draws back.
If somebody scalped those tickets to you, then I apologize, because it was my understanding that this was like a pro bono type showing.
Everything has a price. And then
That's valid.
she draws back into the shadows as the shadows swallow her into their depths. Yeah, Victor, you see the great shadow or lurking figure behind Melody, where she looks, worriedly at you, and she's holding the dagger, the hilt in both hands, and just kind of like, just.
I think as soon as Puck gestures towards Melody and the great big shadow that is looming over her,
Mhm.
I think what Victor does is kind of like go like he faces his shoulder towards Puck and then kind of just dashes sideways to Melody so that like he doesn't turn his back to Puck and
Mhm.
kind of just tries to get back to Melody as fast as possible is his goal.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me just like write this down. Um, yeah, night move.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen?
I think something is going to crush Melody's head.
I think, yeah, one of Titania's servants will
Mhm.
definitely use their bulk
Yeah.
to make it very clear that they're in charge right now, and
Mhm.
Melody will be part of the casualties of this
Mhm.
action.
Is
So,
that the something's worse, or is there another worse thing?
not only will she be crushed, but then her body will be brought down to be part of the play,
Oh,
like act 3
yeah.
of the play.
Mhm. I think I'll just roll this one straight. I don't have any
Second.
conditions at the moment.
Yeah, I gotta get better at this because I mean, but then again, you weren't necessarily here the last time, so it's like I couldn't do that. Yeah, so roll straight, and then this would be vitality because you're trying to get to her.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true. That would be very true if I rolled higher. That is currently a 5. Would you like to describe how Melanie?
Yeah, like
Mhm.
within. Hold on, let me check safety because yeah, okay, Veil. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that 2 very large hands, almost the same size as her head, will
Yeah.
come out of the shadow and like reach around and then like kind of grasp both sides of her head, and camera pans away, but you hear the specific sound that you didn't want to hear,
Mhm.
and you see that this shadow has now taken the very limp form of Melody, and like headed down the stairs where they've thrown open the one door down to the basement, and then you hear not only the chants of the chorus, but then like you hear some wailing as act 3 begins, as they're introducing the courtiers of the occluded king.
I will mark a Mask of the Past.
Okay, and don't forget, hold on, did we even mark that? I don't even remember if we marked it. Hold on. But I don't
I don't think we marked the threat mask yet.
we have not marked the mask of dissociation yet.
Hmm. Would y'all be cool if I marked the Mask of Dissociation?
Absolutely.
Looks good.
Awesome.
All
All
right.
right.
So it is blah, blah. Each hunter narrates a time they felt like a stranger in their own body. Okay. So think about that for a little bit. So that brings you up to 7 to 9, give you a complication and half a mo. Let me go over to Doc before I resolve stuff. All right, Doc. Yeah, you rolled an 11
Mm-hmm.
for that. Tell me how you avoid Cobweb stabbing you and discouraging you from trying to remove the bar.
Does
from
this
the door.
success also mean that like I've rebuffed her physical presence and like am gonna
It
get this door open?
it means whatever you want it to mean. Yes, you've
Yeah, 'cause
succeeded.
I have a
You've definitely
super
succeeded.
vivid and specific image, right? So
Okay.
Doc is walking away back to Cobweb. Cobweb takes out knife, is going for the Doc's left side at his back, trying to maybe get him right through the back at the spleen, because that's super deadly and bad. Lots of blood in there. And Doc, for whatever reason, takes like a step back, makes a slimmer profile, and like tucks his left arm behind himself to grab Cobweb's arm. And this is the arm with the package and like the knuckle dusters, and then he like turns in with his elbow out a little bit to force her to come in. So now it's this side shot where if you just look at from like the shoulder up, it looks like this very tall, imposing woman is like holding Doc from the back, like they're dancing and like leaning in close to his face. And so Doc's got like her arm pinned behind himself. And the camera probably cuts every now and again to her right hand doing something, whether it's dropping to her side slowly, try to get another knife, or moving closer to Doc's back to get the knife from her left hand. And while that's happening, Doc like holds up this tiny barrel and goes, well, at least the story I was trying to tell Whitmore won't go to waste. See, go with me here. This thing here, when the anti-fogmatic that goes in this comes off the still, it is hotter than hell and stronger than John Henry. But you put it in here, strap it to your saddle, and it gets good. And I've had this strapped on my saddle from end to end of the American continent, and show to show, place to place, job to job, it just gets better. I think that at that moment, I've kind of flubbed the last line, which is supposed to be more like to the effect of, the more it's shaken up, the harder it gets beat around, the better it gets. And Doc drops the small like white oak barrel with whiskey in it from his right hand, which like draws Cobweb's attention just enough to where he can let go of her knife arm and then just swing fully up with the package and knuckle dusters, just like fully decking her. And if I have the narrative control to say like I've kind of knocked her out cold, then Doc like looks down, not even at her first, but at the smashed white oak barrel with the whiskey that he's probably been riding with attached to his saddle since who knows when. He goes, damn it all, that was good stuff. And like shakes his head looking down at her, and then like, you know, tosses the bar off, opens the door and goes back inside.
Okay. Now, do you go in through the double doors to see the play, or are you going like around back again to get to the front, you know, to the party?
I want to go be a part of my scene and mess it up on purpose.
Okay.
I want to go through and like through the audience to the stage to go totally screw up my scene.
Yeah, I'm gonna say by this point it's like, you know, you've the beginning of Act 3 is is what I said. Yeah, so okay, and then Lord Campbell-Hughes, I mean, like, yeah, Titania has disappeared back into the shadow. If you do decide to try and you know, find her again or what have you, like, you'll see that you've ended up in one of the gallery hallways upstairs and you don't see her. She's disappeared.
I'm gonna head down. I'm gonna head downstairs to the front door.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, so when you get down to the front door, what are you doing? Are you oh, you know what? Like, I think like on your way to the front door, I think Marie is like, should we be concerned? I mean, the chanting has and the singing and the wailing has gotten louder. What should we do?
You should probably stand by me for the next 15 or 20 minutes.
Is there going to be some sort of entertainment or something?
You could call it that. We're right this way.
And she follows. I mean, some of her friends will also follow because they're like curious. It's like, what is he talking about? What's going on? And what happens?
I go to the front door and open it, and I start and I say, stand right here, right here in the foyer.
Okay.
And I start blowing this this brass whistle, and as constables start running, I'm letting them into Hargrave House. I guess there's like maybe 20 or 30 of them, and to their sergeant, I'm like, arrest everyone but my colleagues, and Sir Anthony and Sir Stuart will take you downstairs. Just arrest the whole lot of them. Arrest everyone in the house.
Now, would you say that the constable that is on duty is known to you, or is this?
Oh, I think this was all prearranged.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Will do, sir. And then he'll like make a little smart salute, and he'll also say, it's like, Lady Winifred sends her regards.
Once you guys get everything, once you sweep the house for all these trespassers, Whitmore will have some go bags for you and your men.
Ah,
Be careful. Some of these trespassers are armed and dangerous.
Will do, sir. And then yeah, they'll like round up people, and Marie's like, oh, this is rather odd, but I guess better than having our face changed or watching a very strange play. Wonderful.
It's all part of this production. It's I'm dressed as a Tragitarian, but I'm actually the king of the anti-climax.
So this is not quite ended yet, but then it has.
Oh, we're wrapping it up. Miss Linton. We're wrapping it up.
Excellent. And then some of her friends are like looking kind of puzzled, but I'm like, okay, all right, we'll just go along with it. So long as we're not arrested, we're great.
And I just say King in Shadow. You know.
Putting the daylights on him, aren't you? All right. Okay, Victor. Tell me how you go about. I mean, you can't dispatch Peas Blossom. However, you can definitely avoid like Melody getting a very bad end. So tell me what you do.
I think as he dashes towards Melody, it's a very smooth motion of just like pulling her towards my back. And we just see Peas Blossom's meaty fist that shouldn't be moving as quickly as they do, like come towards me. And I think just because Victor would like to see how strong they are, instead of like he has his hands on his axes ready to just pull them out because they were ready, but it's like there's a moment where he like touches one, but instead just out of curiosity, just to see how like strong his enemies are, he'll do the thing where like they just like clasp hands like this and they're just like pushing on each other.
Oh my god.
So they're just like locked in that pose.
Right. I just like see anime scenes all the time. Every time you describe it. Yeah, I think like, you start seeing like the bulge of like, the veins in the neck and like, for both of you. And then it's almost like that weird, like, I can't even describe it. But yeah, I mean, like, kind of like the 360 around you too. And I mean,
yeah, there's like a moment.
Do you think it's at a what the fudge? At a standstill? I forget what it is. It's like,
yeah, like stalemate.
Okay, stalemate. Yeah. And I think when the cops come, like they start like streaming in, I think that's when Peas Blossom perks up and like yells over to Puck. It's like, gotta go. And then like, he'll release you, but he'll like release you in such a way that because like, you're like, like hand to hand, I mean, like he's gonna fling you. Yeah. He's gonna try to fling you against the wall. And he motions to Puck to get the hell out before he gets caught. And Puck's already ducked.
Yeah. And there's just this moment of when he feels that someone stalemates him, that Victor gets like a slight grin in his mouth, like on his mouth.
I mean, like Peas Blossom's face is like furious, but he knows he's got to go because he can't hang around and wait for people to dogpile on him. I think like as you're doing that though, I think and you don't notice it until after like the adrenaline has gone down, but I think like in your rush to make sure that Melody is out of the way and doesn't get crushed by Peas Blossom, she accidentally cuts you with your blade.
Mm,
bringing her behind you, and she's like,
yeah.
accidentally just like shh,
Yeah.
and you see like a gash forming in your arm.
Yeah. I think because of how it happened when she pulled me back, I
Mhm.
think she she nicks a pretty accidentally because this is
Yeah,
how her character works. She
yeah,
nicks a really bad spot. She gets underneath the armpit where
yes,
yeah, there's just a cluster of really important nerves there.
yeah.
Um
You feel it.
and
I mean, as soon as the adrenaline
yeah.
drops out, like you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think when Melanie when Victor turns, Melanie just sees Victor's hand in this pose, and Victor tries to bend it and it's not moving properly,
Uh-huh.
and he goes, that was a good spot you picked there.
I'm so
uh
sorry. Oh my
it's fine.
we
If this was anyone else, they would have had this condition for the rest of their lives. Um, it's gonna just take me a few weeks, maybe. You're fine. You're fine. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. You're fine.
I have some remedies and some bandages at my shop. Please let me take care of that for you. I mean, I
Yes.
I feel terrible. Um,
Yes. I've been meaning to go to your shop actually. Um, have
let,
you had any interactions with someone? What's her name? Sorokin?
I know her assistant comes to my shop, not regularly, but enough. Elsie Tanner, yes?
Mm,
Yeah. I
yes.
yeah, with I
She
guess I'm
mentioned.
near. Yeah.
Well, here's
Let
the
let
thing.
me tend to your wounds.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yes. No. No. Not right now. Hey, there's an act 3 I have to get to, and I'm pretty sure that the hunter they asked for wasn't pre-injured going in.
If you're
Let
going
me.
to be
Yeah.
alright.
No. I bleeding out on stage is probably what I need to do.
Oh, she's just like, I mean, she starts tearing off like some of her dress, and it's like, well, please at least apply this just to make sure you're not, going to bleed out.
Mhm.
And yeah, she will as tenderly as possible, like, try to at least like staunch the wound a little bit, whether you
Yeah.
ask her to or not.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and so I want you to take the condition gash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as she puts the pressure on the wound,
Mhm.
Victor just takes the dagger, does one more nick across his face just to look extra huntery, and we'll head downstairs.
Yeah. I think the camera just kind of like, puts a pan on her like rather agog face. All right, so let us go to the unseen. Paul. Walter McTavish is a homeless ex-soldier who sleeps on the filthy straw-covered floor of the casual ward when he's not been able to beg and scrounge enough for a bed elsewhere. What has he lost in service to Queen and country, and how does reality distort in the background as we finish off King in Shadows?
So yeah, we see that this very haggard looking man enter um uh this straw covered area, and he sits down right underneath this cobweb on the corner of the ceiling, and then the camera pans closer to him. From afar he looked like an old veteran, but upon closer inspection he is just a young man who has had to deal with very hard situations that have aged him too much. And as he sits down, he pulls out this makeshift blade he has, because he can't sleep unless he's pointing it out just in case. And he's just sitting there, and he remembers the times he spent serving queen and country, like whispering to himself, muttering to himself. And then every light in this room goes black, and we just hear him scream for a second. No light at all, no torches, no moonlight, nothing. It's just fully black. And then after his scream finishes, a spotlight appears onto him. He stands up, looks up towards it, and begins his I want number of this play.
Doc is downstairs. Act 3 has begun. The three courtiers, the Duchess, the Prince, and the Knave, are starting to be introduced. And Victor, you make your way downstairs. Peas Blossom and Puck have, like pretty much booked it as much as they can, like before the constables, get to them and such. Lord Campbell-Hughes, I think, obviously that you're downstairs and you're just watching the constables do their duty for sure. Are you following to go downstairs?
No, I'm making sure that that people that I actually invited and that I know are not being arrested.
Got it. Okay. All right. Victor, do you think that you beat the constables downstairs and then catch the last act?
I think we see that scene of just like as Victor opens the doors, there's like a very short scene of just like, get over there, sit down, hands behind your back. Then he closes his door and like all silence happens again. Then he enters in.
Sure. Absolutely. All right. So as you're downstairs, both of you, Victor and Doc, tell me what you do in this particular act as the courtiers are introduced and they get to the part of the panoply where it's in between them being introduced and where you remember that the occluded king will be brought in or will appear as the final of this particular act. Let me know what you do.
I think just before either of us gets on stage, backstage, Victor, bleeding out, just looks at Doc and just goes, "Hey, it's just like all the other times we've done this performance before. It's just one more."
Doc looks puzzled.
I'm kidding. This is the first time we're doing this.
All right. I've had a weird night, and I can tell that you've had. Are you gonna die?
No.
Okay. Because I could maybe try to help with that.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I just need a good night's sleep.
Like, there's no elaboration that Doc can add besides that sound. Like, it feels that where his spleen luckily still is unperforated. All right. We gotta fuck this up.
Yeah.
The dirge is starting. The chorus members are starting to shriek and then sing that very discordant, sad chant. As the journeywoman, there's the journeywoman. Remember, they're pushing her towards where the king will appear. What do you two do?
I'm trying to remember what we put together during our question answer to this, like as far as what we would know about what's supposed to happen next specifically, so that we can like subvert it.
Like we're supposed to like act out our roles of like as the king of the hunt should be hunting something and Whitmore should be saying something and I should be doing something tragic, but Whitmore's not saying a word. He's working and
Gotcha.
I'm doing something anticlimactic instead of something tragic.
Gotcha. I think I'm supposed to be keeping a secret that causes a tragic death or something like that. I was going with like old Lon Chaney Wolfman, I think is when we landed on King of Secrets. Out of character, Paul, what if like we did a scene where you didn't die? I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I have an idea of what the hunter probably wouldn't do in this situation.
Okay.
But if
I
you
got
want to
an
do like a joint, yeah, if you
No,
have
no,
an idea,
no.
go for it.
No, I've got an idea for what the King of Secrets might do. Do you want to go first or should I?
Yeah, I think this is like the last part of the play. And it's one of those weird things where the like the King of Shadows is just like it's like a weird meta thing where like they're watching a play, but the King of Shadows is watching the play happen. It's kind of like 3D strange. And I think Victor will just like get on stage. There's this huge beast that he's supposed to fight or whatever. Um, I think bleeding out, he completely just ignores it. And like the rest of the actors just like, what is he doing? The King of Shadows is this in this weird like chorus spot on like an extra parapet up top. Victor kind of just like climbs up to it, like one armed, and then gets to the King of Shadows, and Victor will go, I don't really have to apologize for this. You are like messing up the city. So it he like pulls off the mask of the King of Shadows. And because Mad says like this sort of thing doesn't really happen in our games very often. And this time it will. Victor will kind of just like full kiss the King of Shadows. That he doesn't like, he thinks that's like the one thing that like shouldn't happen in this show. Like one, acknowledging the King of Shadows, and then the hunter not just like making out with them.
I think because I think we see like the back of the King of Shadows with the ghost white mask and the blood red helm, and you making your way up like one-handed and like groaning and whatever, and I think you actually will grab onto the helm and use that to pull yourself up like
Yeah.
close to his face. And
Mhm.
when you pull down the helm and then the mask along with it, we just see your face like just go straight towards the
Yeah.
King of Shadows and plant the big fat one on his face. And I think everybody in the audience and in the chorus are like, completely interrupted. It goes like, record scratch silent, and then a big gasp of like, what is Doc doing?
Perfect. I was about to say, so this is the perfect time for Doc to walk on, and he's holding that like huge, which in the last scene we realized incredibly heavy package covered in chains that's then chained to his waist up with his right hand. He's walking on stage, just staring intently at his left hand, like he's trying to read lines that are written on it. And I imagine like the play attempting to write itself, like reality is sometimes depicted as doing the same when weird magic stuff happens, right? Like the laws of physics bend to explain away the fireball as an explosion, right? Like a gas station thing happening. And in this case, like Doc's walking out and like little tableaus are coming across on tiny like I don't know the word for it, like little lines of rope where you would move bits of set on and off, like backgrounds and stuff. So little bits of like specifically idyllic tableaus, like a little farmhouse with a rooster out front, and then like a lake with a duck and its three little ducklings swimming on it. And then like a forest with squirrels in the tree. Like they're all coming out behind Doc and they're staggered as though they were like to lend depth. And Doc's coming out holding the thing going, I I've come here tonight with secrets, and like shakes his hand. Damn it all! And like it's got Cobweb's blood on his hand over where his lines were written. He goes, okay, these secrets. And Doc turns over his left shoulder and like throws the package through the closest of the tableaus, which is the forest with the squirrels, and like smashes it. Either smashes it into bits or knocks it off the rope. Because the only secret here is meant to make you fall for the trap that is peace. And then Doc like pulls the chain back to get the package and whips it over his other shoulder at the other tableau, the little duck pond, and that smashes and or falls off and goes, oh man, I had a whole thing thought up. That's all The lie is peace in this world that does not bend towards goodness, but tragedy. And if you let it, and Doc does the thing, picks it up again, throws it through the final bit of scenery and smashes it into bits, explodes into bits, the farmhouse with the rooster out front. If you let it, the hand of fate will throttle you, and you will be utterly exflunciated. But that's not on me. And Doc like throws off the little belt of chains connecting him to the weird secret package prop and then walks off stage.
Yeah, the tableaus are in shambles. And Victor, you pulled off the mask and the helm.
Yes, I believe so.
What do you see before your vision clouds? Possibly because of blood loss, possibly because you're kissing the king in shadows. What do
Yeah,
you
that's a good
see?
point. What
do you think you see before you go fade to black, literally?
I think what Victor sees as he pulls off the mask, there's a moment like this I think this happens like after Victor like pulls away from the kiss, because he kind of just goes for it. He doesn't really look.
Oh yeah.
And then he pulls away.
Mhm.
I think this is the first time Victor truly looks afraid that the audience has ever seen of the show. And there is there's a male voice that says something in like Belgian to Victor, and he pulls away because I don't know how this works in the playbook and stuff. I feel like it's a good moment for that. He pulls away and he's afraid because he sees the beast in front of him.
Lord Campbell-Hughes. I think by this point, after like the set has been decimated and Victor has disconcerted the king in shadows, I think this constabulary has made their way downstairs and started to make their very, very efficient arrests, unlike their usual selves, but it's fine. Do you follow? And do you close out your particular role?
No, I'm gonna stay up with Whitmore and the members of the REC and hold to my anticlimactic tragedy.
I think, and I'm just going to do this as a partly as a goof, but also because it's like to end the king in shadows on a little bit of a lighter note. I think after the constabulary has gone downstairs, started arresting more people and such, and you're staying upstairs and chatting with Marie and some of the other folk. You do see Melody. I don't know if you've been introduced properly to Melody yet, but I mean, like, here's this young woman that looks a little harried and she's clutching a dagger, of all things, just kind of looking a little lost. But I think in the middle of this, Whitmore comes like flying out of the kitchen looking pissed, like definitely not as composed as he normally would. And he just kind of like stomps a little bit, again, unlike Whitmore, and says, "All of the milk in Hargrave House's kitchen is spoiled. What has been going on?"
We're probably gonna get a lot of that. You may want to cancel any upcoming dairy orders for Hargrave House for the foreseeable future, Whitmore.
How am I supposed to make the leche cake? How am I supposed to make the lemon cake? I'm sorry to disappoint you. And then he'll turn on his heel and go back into the kitchen. And that, I believe, is the end of King in Shadows. You will still need to do your Mask of Dissociation, but let's go through rewards and dawn questions first, and then we'll go ahead and see if anybody's ready to do Mask of Dissociation. Okay. So rewards. The Mask of Comedy. Narrate a flashback to a time you were ridiculed for defying the expectations of a social role you occupied. Mask of Tragedy. Narrate a flashback to a time you took pleasure in the suffering of someone else. A featureless gold mask from the night tap. Add it to your personal quarters. Your script has been rewritten. Unmark a mask of the future or clear a permanent condition. And a memento from the investigation. Ask another hunter what it is and then add it to your personal quarters. So yeah, 5 different things. So take your pick. Let me know who's got what. Did anybody want to pick now, or did you want to do this offline? That's perfectly fine too.
I'm happy to pick now, but I'm also like, I'm happy to take either the Mask of Comedy or the Mask of Tragedy. Both of those very much interest me. So I didn't know if anyone had other interests or opinions.
Is the tap room gone now? Is that just part of this threat, or does it stay in the game?
It doesn't say, but I'm going to go ahead and say that at nighttime, during a night phase, it is possible to find the night tap again.
Then I'd like to have the gold mask of that the people wear to night tap.
Okay. All righty. Go ahead.
I'll take the Mask of Comedy.
The Mask of Tragedy.
Is it a physical mask, or is it like a mask that we can use? Does it work like?
Well, okay. If you got the Mask of Comedy or the Mask of Tragedy, it works like a mask. I don't think it's a physical thing.
Oh,
okay,
that's fun.
The only thing that's an actual mask is the featureless gold mask that from the night tap. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's go over to the dawn. Rewards are collected, and we'll have Jeremy figure out which one he wants for Whitmore. Dawn questions. All right, starting with Doc. Did you answer a question? Yes, last time. So go ahead and mark that. Did you resolve a threat? Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Did you experience?
I need to like unmark all and then start again. So the first one, yes. I'm just gonna have to pick something right after we're done. So we answered a question, did resolve a threat, so I'll mark 1 of the next track.
Did you experience an echo in the night?
I was thinking destroying the little like pits of scenery was matching with the idyllic scenes of the bricked up windows.
Yes. Okay, great.
Okay.
Did you encourage a fellow hunter to let loose for a change?
Well, I mean, you know, Whitmore wasn't being actively played tonight, but I was trying to start the night in the kitchen, trying to encourage Whitmore to stop working and drink whiskey with me instead. Not that he would have done it either way, even if he was being played, but I was encouraging, right?
Yeah, I'll count that. That's fine.
Okay.
Did you share a treasured memory from the States during an intimate moment with another character?
Closest would have been me talking to Cobweb, I think.
I think when they say another character, I think they mean another PC.
Well, see, I thought they meant just another character because they do specify fellow hunter in that other question.
That's true.
But I mean, I'll totally abide by your ruling because I that's totally a gray area.
Yeah.
That was me just kind of winging it. Like, okay, what am I going to try to aim for? A scene with, Victor or Lord Campbell-Hughes, or do I think I can like sink it into Cobweb's moment? So I won't be upset.
Yeah. Now let's make that like, like a more of a, you're like maybe doing a vulnerable move, or you're doing a, because I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think I'd prefer to have that for like PC to PC kind of thing. Yeah.
I dig it. I was just trying to diversify my questions because a lot of them seem to be aimed around like talking to other hunters.
Okay. All righty.
But cool.
All right. Yeah, so go ahead and change your elective dawn questions if you wish. I mean, of course, you've marked off your XP track, and then clear the dawn question check marks for next time, okay? Lord James Campbell-Hughes answered a question, resolved a threat. Did you experience an echo in the night?
The watch with a kid.
Yes. Okay. Did you use your loyalty to Her Majesty to justify your brutal actions?
I kind of thought that's what I was going for with the beggars, but I think that was more my own personal frustrations, so I'm not going to count that.
Yeah, I think it was definitely more of your like, I'm trying to find this. Like,
I don't think the queen had anything to do with it.
Yeah. Did you have a face-to-face encounter with the mastermind? Yes, I think you
I don't
did.
think I did on that one.
What?
I'm kidding. Yes.
You were jonesing it for a while. It's like, okay, all right, great. So mark your XP track and then clear the dawn questions. Go ahead and change the elective ones if you so choose. And then again, like, mark somewhere that if you don't already pick an advancement, then to do so before the next session and such. Okay. And then like Whitmore, I'm going to mark off at least the dawn questions that he's able to get XP. Okay. Trying to remember if he had a scene showing a secret private life in London, or again, you're ensuring that you got credit. And I cannot remember for the life of me if he did it in the last couple of episodes. Darn it. So at least he gets two XP points. All right, Victor. Answer a question, resolved a threat. Experience an echo in the night. I heard it. Yep. Did you revel in the thrill of the hunt?
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell someone why their plans were poorly made?
I don't think that one.
Okay.
I don't think that one's super clear. Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and release that one. So didn't get that one. I want to give you X for dealing with Peas Blossom, O for the way the threat was handled. Kissing the
All right.
King of Shadows. Holy shit. Oh boy. And if anybody has Mask of Dissociation ready, please do. And I think, yeah, I mean, so Victor, you took Mask of Dissociation to cover that 5. So
I've got mine ready.
okay, go ahead.
We see a younger Lord James Campbell-Hughes with a younger Sir Anthony, and we're both wearing our military uniforms, and we're in Buckingham Palace, and we see the Queen pin ribbons on both of our chests, amongst the many that Lord James already has and the few that Sir Anthony has. And the Queen is saying something, but Lord James Campbell, he just can't seem to focus, and she's waiting for a response, and he just kind of shakes and says, like, "Yes, Mom," or something like that. But he really didn't know what she just asked. And then he's definitely preoccupied, and is not even aware that he just got this really high honor from the Queen, as the scene like ends there.
I also have my Mask of Dissociation. It's gonna be really tough to follow, but mine's also kind of vague. It's just a visual thing for the most part, right? It's Doc barefoot, shirtless, running across an open plain under a new moon, the like barest sliver of a new moon with a tinge of red around it. And the diegetic noise is like this fog of feet slamming impossibly fast through the grass, big like heaving breaths of someone, a human, an animal, so past their point of endurance that and we can see this reflected in Doc's body. It's like pouring sweat like a horse about to die. And we can't really see much about Doc besides he's shirtless, that he's running, that like there's this anguish on his face that's almost kaleidoscopic as the barest moonlight seems to kind of change its position moment to moment. And through this weird fog of diegetic noise, of the pounding feet and the heaving breath, eventually slowly rising up and piercing through it is like the sound of human weeping. And as it's about to reach its apex and become louder than this fog of diegetic noise, it kind of roughly, gutturally transforms into a yowl, like bobcat meets like a wolf's howl at the moon. Sounds like I think, so I live in Tennessee, so sometimes I hear this out from the distance. It sounds like a woman is like screaming for her life. That's like a wildcat or bobcat, cougar. It truly is one-to-one. I've heard it a handful of times when I used to live further out away from the suburbs, and it's indistinguishable.
For Victor's scene, we see some sort of like large like sand pit, and he just like comes into shot like like it looks like he just took a big blow from someone and is on the ground. And we see these two weapons clatter to his side. It's the twin hatchets he carries now. He looks up and he sees his father, and he goes, "Father, these weapons aren't for me. I don't feel good. It doesn't feel good to use them. They're heavy, they're unwieldy. I can't, they're inaccurate. The momentum that carries," and his father just puts his hand up. They're both in like training garb. And his father just goes, "Victor, the Van Helsing came in and said that these are the weapons that you are meant to wield." And Victor just like, "Just give me my knives back. I feel more myself when I have them." And his father goes, "Victor, sometimes we need to change if we really want to be the strongest versions of ourselves. Pick up those weapons and come at me again." And Victor picks them up. He just like, he doesn't even like, it looks weird. He doesn't know how to hold them properly. It's like high on the handle, low on the handle. It's weird. And Victor goes, "You know, Father, I would feel better about this if you weren't doing this barehanded." And his father goes, "When I feel like it's worth it for me to carry weapons during this training, I will carry weapons." And then Victor just like frustratedly yells and like rushes in.
Whatever you feel that you can squeeze in, like kind of like party's over, play is obviously over, and the King of Shadows has receded. What is everybody doing before, like in this in-between period, dawn breaks and before day truly begins?
I think Lord James Campbell-Hughes would call Hargrave House and maybe even have Sir Anthony there and say, "Okay, we know what we're dealing with now. We're now dealing with something unworldly, and the agents of this worldly entity that's after our queen and country." And then I would kind of spill out the details of Titania. This queen from another reality is here and is behind a lot of this, as I suspected, but it has been confirmed with her appearance tonight at Hargrave House.
Titania. The Titania.
The one insane.
No queens. I've said it before. I'll say it again as an American. No queens, no kings. No
Watch your
masters.
mouth right there. Watch your mouth right there, Mr. McBain.
He's very sensitive about that.
Sorry, Lord Hughes. I've got to say it though. Anyways, Victor, I really do want to sew you up though. Doc is far too drunk to sew you up because you're looking rough. I see you're still bleeding.
Oh, yes.
Hemorrhaging blood.
Yes, I have plenty. It's fine. Titania, and you know her.
Yes.
She is she, is it like a destroy London situation?
I don't know. But she's not supposed to be here in our reality, and yet here she is. And I offered to help her return to her realm, and she made some very cryptic remarks about our queen. I can only suspect that it's that Queen Victoria has something, or knows something, or somehow there's a connection between the two.
I'm just gonna hold my tongue.
Thank you.
There are a few things you're taught growing up as an Armstrong to run away from. There's a few whose names are hard to pronounce, but Fae Queen, that is, it takes at least a dozen of us normally to make that sort of expedition, Lord Campbell-Hughes. Are we ready?
Something's wrong. She's not. This isn't the Titania that I know. Something's wrong with her here in our reality. She's not. She has no fairy glamour. She has no like she's not illustrious. She's like old and withered, and something's wrong. Otherwise, I agree, Victor. I would be enthralled right now, and yet I'm not. So I don't know. We'll get to the bottom of it, but I tell you now, we do not run, because then it'll start the whole wild hunt, and that does not end well for mortals.
The wild hunt, yes.
I'm sorry, what?
The whole thing.
The wild
No,
hunt.
just the last part. Wild hunt?
The wild
Yeah.
hunt.
I was about ready to say I'm disappointed we don't get to go to the land of the fairies. Doc's eyes terribly nervous. Like every muscle of his body now is like
Well-
very tight, absolutely contradicting his tone. But wild hunt, that sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, it's tough.
Okay.
Usually you don't want, it's kind of just like a once in a lifetime thing. Like after you go through one wild hunt, you don't want to go through another one.
That does sound bad. Maybe there's a book I can read about that. I think Doc like wanders off.
So let's see. Hold on. So Doc is drunkish?
I think Doc is having in my mind, the thing that is like the quickening thing behind Doc, some part of his brain is like connecting the shape shiftiness of it to fairy stuff.
Mm.
And is starting to get nervous, and is starting to like really it's really underlining the like little he knows about where that all comes from and what it means. And like, you know, he's met vampires, he's met a bunch of different magic stuff, and he hasn't really met a thing that explains exactly what he is.
Right.
So I think he just like stumbled into a panic attack while he was thinking of a fun joke to make about, oh, we don't get to go visit the fairies. And then like that thought process led him down a rabbit hole of, oh wait, this might be very bad for me to do. Oh, what if what's wrong with me has something to do with that? That would like, and then just steam out the ears. So like, you know, when he leaves after the like, maybe there's a book I can read about it. It's it reads very much like a clumsy exit to like just recoup.
The way I want to phrase this sounds dumb, and I don't want to do it if that's going to be the case, but I feel like you should get a condition for that, for feeling that way.
I can also just make a note that we have a new condition to add.
Yeah, just to put Faye condition TBD. Victor's got a gash. Lord Campbell-Hughes, you lost your patience, but now you've got... Would you say you're obsessed?
Yeah, I think I would go more with melancholy or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, let's put melancholy for right now. And then, well, Whitmore was worried about milk spoiling, but I'm not going to put that as a condition for him. And how is Victor feeling? I mean, hearing that Titania is in the mix now.
To Victor, just being at Hargrave House was kind of just like something to do with his time. Like it's not, he doesn't say it, he doesn't think it's beneath him, but he was kind of just like picking up like just like side work just to like pass the time.
Sure.
But hearing that there is an actual like threat, that is something that like the best people from his like his family would be sent to. I think it's like I don't think he's afraid of Titania. I think he's like it's like when you get like a piece of really challenging work, but it's the kind you really like enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like someone is like, hey, would you like to run a 10 session campaign in this really tough system, but it's with everyone you really like, and like, but you'll have to like plan it all out, and there's like 5 players. Like, I want to do it, but like, it'll just be hard. I think like exciting, or like, I don't know, something like that, but like trepidatious at the same time. It's like a nervous excitement or something.
Challenge accepted.
Yes, good.
Let's call this this session closed for right now, because I can't get into anything further. We're into a new day phase or anything like that. And just so as a reminder, let's see. Let's mark this off. Resolved. Great. So you still have St. Petersburg Mirror and Limehouse Lurker on the table. And then come next day phase, another one. Goodness, so gracious. Just ramping this stuff up. It's wonderful. All right. So we should get with more back, I believe, for next time. And then, if anybody else has any other absences or whatever, just let me know. But yeah, stars and wishes. Again, stars are things that you liked about the gameplay, the game, each other, and then wishes are what you'd like to see for next time and in the future. Okay.
When I was a kid watching TV shows, I used to like the episode where all the characters get to do like a fancy dress up. And there's a Brindlewood Bay mystery. I think it's a Halloween one where it's the same kind of thing where the characters go to dress up. And so this one, a star for the costumes that Paul's Craven suit and Bob's Riddler suit. It's funny you guys picked like villains, DC Marvel. So stars for both of your costumes for tonight. And also a star. There's also another theme that Mads kind of brought into this. So a star there for bringing back Melody, Cobweb, and Titania. And you can make a case for King and Shadows, but like we had these like love. There's like the love interest episode. So it was like a twofer. So we had like the dress up, and we had like the love interest. So stars for that, Mads. Also another star for Sir Anthony's using tarot card reading to like screen for Titania was I really like that. For Cobweb, I hope that can be salvaged. I don't know. I feel like that was starting off as something good, and it feels like now I hope you can bring that back around. And just Paul trying to be out of character, serving drinks, and just your take on ruining the King and Shadows was really good. Those are my stars. I don't think I have any wishes. I wish I could be here next time, but I can't. I got to go to that Darkened in Pennsylvania on the week of the next game.
Well, you'll definitely be sorely missed. My star, I have a star for you for sure. And it's just like not that you fully downshifted Lord James Campbell-Hughes for this, but like doing the whole King of Tragedy to King of Anticlimax to like kind of laid back isn't the right word. I want to say laconic, but I might be misusing that as well. Like party host that like then near the end just calls in the cops like, oh yeah, by the way, like we talked about earlier, arrest everybody in my fucking house right now. Everything about that was so good and so well exemplified how great it can be to show a character's show who a character is by, instead of like you normally do, doing what they essentially are, but by instead like doing what they often aren't. And I feel like that's a hard moment to pin. You pinned it. You took advantage of it. You really ran with it. That was great. A lot of wonderful things across the board, but the thing that jumps out for me with Victor, Paul, is our little moment backstage. That was so great, and that especially leading into you like making out with the King in Shadows or going for the kiss of the King in Shadows is so great. I've been a part of that. I was at a comedy show once where like a guy was making some really terrible offensive jokes, and my friend I was with like kind of lightly heckled him, and the crowd was not on his side either. Lightly heckled him. The guy like yelled and like made a gay joke, and then my buddy just like pulled me in for a big kiss. It was great. We got applause. So that strategy works. And then Mads, huge star for the Cobweb turn. I can't say it hadn't jumped to mind, but it was surprising. I was really happy to get to like do that. And maybe this is kind of halfway a wish. I'm very excited to like move past that and continue to be like there to be romantic tension, because I'm really hoping that can like still happen. It's fun to be romantically interested in people that are very bad for you. It makes for good stories. As far as my wish, that's again halfway one of them. I really want there still to be romantic tension with Cobweb. And we mentioned it last time, and I'm sure we'll get to it, but I really want that group scene that I think Jeremy mentioned it last time, was like getting all four of us into a room. That's really not happened a lot. And when it's happened, it's been kind of like not the point of the scene. I'm still hungry for that moment. I think that'll be really fun.
For me, star to Daniel. I really like figuring out what the mastermind explorer relationship is going to be. I feel it was really clear that like, it really felt like that was the first time Lord Campbell-Hughes spoke to someone like they're equal, which is crazy because she's like a fairy queen. She's not, but like it's the first time Lord Campbell didn't feel like he was like talking down to someone in a way, or like talking from like a higher place than them. They just happen to be lower than him. And it's not every explorer I've seen really like flex as much of their ability as I feel like fictionally they can. So you just being like, yeah, all the cops just show up because I've already set this up. Like so many, like a lot of characters in the between, it's really obvious how powerful they are, but like a lot of explorers just kind of just like talk to people, and that's also like how you should play them. But like you can just be like, yeah, I just have the army at my beck and call, it's fine. It's really good. Started Bob, I really like the description, like the description of just like Doc in general is a very desperate character. It's just like always just like he always feels like he's like spinning multiple plates at once in scenes. And like he's just it's like getting through it. It's really fun always. Mad, start to you. I really like seeing all the servants of the mastermind in one place, but they're all menacing in their own ways, and I really like how there is a clear. I want to like, I guess it's a wish for later, but like I really like seeing like that there's clearly a relationship between like Peace Blossom and Puck. That there's like a relationship they have built as a rapport between the two of them, which is really fun to see. And yeah, wish, nothing super duper comes to mind. I would like to fight Peace Blossom again. I've been waiting for Peace Blossom for the longest time. He's like he's my favorite one. So he's cool. I'll like like if Doc has Cobweb, I'll interact more with Peace Blossom. He seems fun as a wish.
Oh my God, it was so much fun bringing everybody in tonight. I wasn't actually expecting to do so, but you just made it easy. Everybody just like, yeah, I think I want to see this. And like, you didn't even have to say anything. And like, I already knew. It's like, first it was Cobweb, and then it was like Puck, and then Peas Blossom, because it's like, why the hell not? And then I definitely wanted to give you a taste of Titania like actually coming on the scene and such. So yeah, I mean, I kind of liked it. I mean, because it wasn't as dangerous as it really could have been, although like the Peas Blossom fight was awesome, and then like the interaction with Lord Campbell-Hughes was really cool too. So I mean, like, I'm still getting used to the character, but I think having Titania is really determined by the table that you have. I'm not playing her the way that I was playing with Stars and Suns. So, I mean, again, credit to you guys for helping shape the world as you perceive it. And so, all I do is respond, and it's great because it gives me opportunities to stretch and make this yours, yeah, I mean, like, I agree with all of the stars for definite sure. I mean, like, like the descriptions for a lot of the things that were happening were really cool. And, I I apologize if it seems like I'm like, like making it a lot of player facing stuff, but I mean, again, it's like what you guys are perceiving in this world. I'm going to provide you with things, but I've also learned from other campaigns and other things that I've run that, sometimes I'm just getting in the way. You just need to just kind of like drive the boat, because it's like, this is what you're dealing with. And again, appreciate like all the um, world building as you collaborate on your narrative. And it's really interesting to see what they see. I mean, again, I could come up with stuff, but you guys are doing it yourselves, and it's great, because then callbacks. I mean, I will try and do my best to definitely call back. Have no fear, Bob. I think that Cobweb understands principles of war, kind of thing. I think I'm treating Cobweb more of of like a Klingon type of relationship. She probably finds you more interesting because it's like you fight, rather than trying to romance her. So I think it'll be interesting to continue on with that. No worries. And then yeah, Paul, I really do like Victor and his dealings with Melody. She just seems to keep popping up in places, and it's like, I'm not sure exactly what her deal is just yet, but thank you for willing to see her in different places, and like, dealing with her as she will. We'll see. I mean, not sure yet. And it's fun. And then Lord Campbell-Hughes again with Titania. I know the Explorer is supposed to be about like, serving their queen, but I'm kind of wondering now whether, like in your case, it's more of like is he feeling torn because of the two monarchs that he's supposed to serve? Well, the one monarch that he's supposed to serve, and the other monarch who is brought down low, and maybe he actually does want to help. So it's a thought. I'm just wondering. Yeah, wishes again, like wanting to see that like more group scenes, more scenes of you all like, pairing up or working together in some way. And yeah, I have to figure out, like, I thought I had an idea for the next threat, and I think I want to change it now. Yet again. We'll see how this goes. I don't know if anybody has anything else, but if not, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I need like really vague clues about the beast from
Yes.
From the other players. I got
for
two
the
things
X and the O.
today.
Yep.
Just one each.
Yes.
And the X and the O, they both just give like any clue that we can think
Yeah.
of, right? There's no direct
It's
hint.
very subtle, like it's not complicated at all,
Mhm,
because I
mhm.
mean, it's just a hint of the beast being near.
What about, you tell me if this has already happened? For some reason, I feel like is it Ghostbusters 2 when the demons are coming right before Gozer is summoned, where there's a scene where one of them is there attacking some characters, but it's invisible. There's like a lot of like invisible dog footprints everywhere. Because my idea is that you like are now frequently looking behind you and finding like large bestial prints in the grass, or like wet, like wet, whatever the beast is, paw, human, something, but unsettling, like wet. If you walk across like tiles or pavers, you see like that, and then through the grass, that kind of thing.
I like this image where Victor's laying in bed at night, and he sees the curtains move like from a breeze, the windows open, but then they go out, and then they slowly come in, and they go out as it's something very large breathing really close to the window, pulling in the curtains and then blowing out the curtains.
Nice. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Beautiful. All right, awesome. Yeah, just keep like track of these fun things for sure. Advancements.
These fun, good things.
Oh my God. Oh, this is great. Oh my Lord. Okay. Well, I mean, it gives plenty for Jeremy to look at for before next time. All right. Awesome. So yeah, thank you very much for another great evening, another great session, gentlemen. And I will see most of you hopefully next time. And we will definitely miss our Lord Campbell-Hughes for our next session. All right. So, returning all together again for the time after that. All right. Have a good couple of weeks, and then I will see you then. All right. Happy gaming. All right. Thank you. Bye.